Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Just want to do a quick little stream for you guys this morning. Didn't think I'd have time to talk about it. Lo and behold, we got a few minutes before we go out and grab some brunch. So wanted to hit on this fine that the Bears got in the penalty the penalty was called on Keisean Nixon against the Bears, right? And no flag thrown on the Chicago Bears. Everybody all over Twitter was talking about this, not just Packer fans. There was mainstream sports media people like Jordan Rodriguez mentioning it. I know there were several others that were tweeting out like crazy, like what in the world is going on with it? I think Dan Orlovsky, another one, what's going on with this Packers-Bears game and the officiating? Seemed like it was very one-sided. Listen, it would be real easy seeing that the Packers won, that we just turned to, you know what, we won, let's just turn the page. I feel like that's the wrong way to handle it personally. If we want the officiating to get fixed in the National Football League, you can't just call it out when you lose. And I know there's some Bears fans that get upset that we're still talking about this. The point is, even if the winning team, if you come out with the win and then you just decide, okay, no, well, let's just forget about the penalties because we got the outcome that we wanted, that's the wrong way to handle it. It's the wrong way to look at it. Again, if we're loud enough as a fan base, not a Packer fan base, Bear fan base, Viking fan base, a NFL fan base, if we're loud enough, maybe they'll make some changes to the way this NFL officiating is going on. Isn't it amazing that you can challenge all these different plays, but it's not you? There's no way that the officials can stop the game and just look at a penalty real quick and, hey, let's make sure we got that flag right. Why is that? Do they want there to always be some kind of muddy water, a little bit of smoke in the air that you can't get a clear picture on exactly how things go? Do they want that little bit of maneuverability? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm the dumb redneck podcaster out here asking questions. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. And we're going to go through the latest update on this, in which a Bears player did get fined. And we're going to talk about the impact that penalty had on the game. It's going to be a real quick stream. That's what we're going to dive into. And, of course, we'll be back later on today, 2 p.m. Central, for the PTA pregame show, taking you right up to kickoff for the Packers-Broncos matchup. So before we get into this, if you would, do that YouTube stuff for me real quick. Hit like. Hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your morning, your game day morning. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe. Click the bell icon when you're so you're notified when we do go live with these random streams. And make sure you smash that like button, everybody in the chat. I see it's on fire. I wish we had time to hang out with the chat and actually get your all's takes. So please make sure you comment on this video and the one that's going to be edited out later, because we want to hear your opinion. Again, I got to run out of here real quick or my wife's going to be mad. Let me tell you, let's jump into it. Okay, so this is the play that we were referring to, obviously, from the matchup with the Packers and the Bears at Lambeau Field last week. I put this tweet out originally, said Chicago Bear hanging out in Green Bay's huddle, grabs Packer by the throat, Packer pushes him, penalty on the Packers, LOL, right? And you can see it got quite a run, 143,000 views, got a lot of interaction here. And again, the point was Luther Burden, he's back behind where the Packers defensive huddle is going to be. And he's just kind of lurking, hanging out. You guys know he had comments earlier in the week. He was running that mouth, talking about he's putting the league on notice and this and that. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but you could tell he's got the little man syndrome because teams passed up on him in the draft. So he's just kind of hanging out. John McCarrington Valentine. Well, Keisean Nixon, being the leader he is, he walks over, and as he's walking back toward the huddle, he sees him, John. What's Key do? Key walks up, and I wish I could play the clip here, but you guys know why we can't. You can go watch it yourself. Keisean walks up, goes up to him, says something back to him, probably something like, get the F out of our huddle, right? Because, he's hanging back there trying to provoke. As soon as Key says something, Luther Burden grabs him by the throat. Flags go flying because now Carrington steps in. All Carrington does is knock Luther Burden's hand off of Keisean's neck and tell him to get out of the huddle. Flag flies, unnecessary roughness on the Green Bay Packers, I think, was the official call. So that's just in case you guys, little refresher on what happened there right now. Moving along, Tom Pelissero tweeted out last night, over on X. And here is the tweet he put up. He said, the NFL fined Bears wide receiver Luther Burden III $11,075 for unnecessary roughness, his role in this altercation last week. Only Packers DB Keisean Nixon was flagged. Nixon was not fined. So what does that tell you, guys? What does it tell you? That the NFL went back and looked at it, right? The NFL went back and looked at it, and they said, yeah, we got it wrong. Keisean did nothing wrong. Luther Burden was the instigator. He's the one who made physical contact, and we ended up throwing a flag on Key. So we're not going to find Keisean Nixon. We're not going to find Carrington Valentine. We're not going to find a single Green Bay Packer on the football field because they did nothing wrong. That's what this is saying. However, we're going to find Luther Burden $11,000 because he instigated. He's the one who put his hands on another player. He grabbed him by the throat. To me, when you grab a player by the throat or you spit on, I know there's a portion of the fan base that they'll say, oh, Keisean needs to control his emotions. I agree. But I'm telling you, man, a player spits in another player's face or a player grabs another player by the throat, if I'm the head coach, knock his damn head off. That's how I feel. Because, again, there's certain things that you can't just go. There were some people saying Keisean needs to learn how to flop there. Micah needs to learn how to flop. I will not root for a football team that's going to flop on the football field. Aaron Rodgers never did it. Brett Favre damn sure never did it. Jordan Love refuses to do it. He's lowering his head, lowering the shoulder, and hitting people, right? We want him to stop that, don't get me wrong. But these people that want Green Bay Packers to flop like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams. You seen it 2 weeks ago. Caleb was 3 yards in bounds, ran up on a defender, started angling toward the out of bounds, and as soon as the defender hit him, he sprints out of bounds like he was shot out of a cannon and flops himself on the ground like he's, oh my God, look what they did to me. Luckily, the officials didn't throw a flag there. I do not want my players doing that. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. I do not want them doing that. If anything, I want them taking a little bit of retaliation shot. It's worth 15 yards to prove a point. That's the way I see it. But again, Keisean did nothing wrong here. Let's go to the chat just real quick, not the chat, but the comments. Just see how people are responding here. And I got to be very, very careful with how we hit this, okay? Because you never know what's going to be in the comments. But again, I like this one, right? GTA 6999 says karma's a B and shows the interception right after it, right? All right. Joe on Twitter here at ND Cheesehead says, there's no excuse for not having the ability to overturn crap like this in a game. Amen. That's the whole point of this video, guys. You can challenge the spot of the ball knowing damn well the officials probably are not going to overturn that call because, again, if you can't tell to the inch where it's at, well, there's inconclusive evidence. They give them, again, it's the muddy water. It's that fog of war. They want that little bit of fogginess to where they can kind of sway it in whichever direction they want, right? There's no reason why a 15-yard penalty that put them well within field goal range when our defense was shutting Chicago down. I believe this was in the first half, if I remember correctly, and we'll dive into the details in a second. There's no reason why they can't go, hey, official timeout. What exactly happened? Let's roll the tape. Yeah, that they did nothing wrong. This should be on the Chicago Bears. So imagine if the penalty was called on the Chicago Bears and they're now backed up beyond their own 50. They do not kick that field goal early on, and the Packers go on to probably go up 10-0, 14-0, and the boat race ensues, right? So again, what this does, guys, is it allows fans who think that the game is rigged. And listen, I don't say that in a smart aleck way. If you believe that, I've got to respect your opinion because you get more and more of these things that just make sense. It's common sense. Again, we won the football game. We were able to overcome these bad calls all day long. So I'm not coming at you like this bitter fan that we should have won the game and they cheated us. No, I'm going, this is the winning side, and it's still ridiculous. Get it right so we can remove all of this negative talk about the league as if things are being fixed. It's silly. It's absolutely ridiculous that they don't want that bad reputation removed, right? So I completely agree with what Joe said there on Twitter. And of course, I tweeted it back out last night, and I just want to see a couple of the comments from our regulars over on X, right? I said, gotta love it when the NFL officials are proven wrong, yet they just move right along like it didn't impact the game. Even with their help all night, the Bears still couldn't take the lead one time. They didn't lead this game one time. And again, it feels like, again, allegedly, it feels like on the surface when you got a team that the Packers were 6.5-point favorites, right? And I'm just workshopping here, okay? You got a team that's 6.5-point favorites. I think they were already up by 7 points. And now if that penalty flag goes against the Chicago Bears, they don't score there. All of a sudden that point spread, boy, it gets blown out of the water, don't it? But instead, you get that works out for the Bears. You get the other. I want to say there was like 5 or 6 penalties. I know we had like 45 or 50 more penalty yards, maybe more than that by the end of the game. Last I stopped checking. You get all those penalty yards that add up, and all of a sudden the Bears are in the game at the end, right? They're just right there in the middle of it. It's funny how that works. It seems like it never – a bad call – this is my point. A bad call never happens that extends that point spread well beyond what the spread is, right? It just seems like that happens more times than not. Not always, but more times than not. In the comments here, Kevin says refs need to start getting a demerit system. They get so many in a season, they are not brought back next year. Hey, that's some kind of action, right? I'm down with it. Florida NAFO fella, if I'm saying that right, the refs tried to give this game to Chicago multiple times. The NFL has to institute some sort of fine for them missing egregious calls. Also, why is this type of thing not reviewable? Yes and yes. Now, why do they not fine them? Well, I'm learning a little bit more about the officiating situation. It seems like I've been fed a bunch of information over the years that the refs are just part-time employees, and it's not their fault. They're doing the best they can. This is more of the league. I'm finding out now the refs have a union, and if Pat McAfee was correct on his show, I think they said that the NFL is not, they're not allowed to contact those officials in the offseason. They're getting paid over 6 figures, if I understand correctly. I believe that's the last time. They're getting, it may not be 6 figures. It's not like they're getting paid minimum wage. These guys are getting paid really, really good money to be officials. Shouldn't there be something in the offseason that the NFL is working with the officials on trying to get this thing figured out and better? Isn't that weird that there's just this little vagueness left out there for things to just kind of go, it's just the way it goes. So completely agree with what Florida fan there said. Luke says, this also was the penalty that got them into easy field goal range, and they got another 2 yards on the next 3 plays and kicked a 33-yard field goal that would have been from 50 in the code. Just a disgraceful job by these referees. So that right there is the point I want to hit on a second. And again, shout out to at LVRIELING. I know I'll butcher the name there. LV Riling, maybe. Shout out to them because this is exactly how I feel, right? How did this impact the game? I'm glad you asked. Let's go to the box score. Let's go to the chart real quick, and then we'll get you guys out of here so I don't get divorced, all right? So here is how the game unfolded. First possession, first quarter, Bears got the ball first. They end up having a punt. 3 plays, negative 5 yards punt. Next drive, the Packers went 13 plays. We threw an interception, of course. Look at the defense again, guys. The very next drive here, right here. 3 plays, negative 5 yards again. Packers defense just dominating, right? Packers come out, 5 plays, 15 yards. We end up having a punt. Bears came out, 5 plays, 15 yards. They end up having a punt. Then watch what happens. The Packers go on an 11-play scoring drive. 80 yards, 5 minutes and 50 seconds off the clock. They go up 7-0. Now here comes the Bears' first score. We've been shutting them down all day long, right? The Packers started moving the ball. We just made that one mistake, throwing the interception, obviously. Now all of a sudden, watch what happens. 14 plays, 59 yards, right? So let's see what happens here. 3-yard run by Monunga, 4-yard run by Monunga, right? 12-yard pass from Caleb, short to Burden, ran out of bounds, so 12 yards there, right, on a 3rd and 3 play. Incompletion on first down by Caleb. That was a surprise, right? My God, what was it? 40-some percent completion percentage in the first half. 2-yard run by Monunga, okay? And look right here. 2-yard run, however, illegal use of hands by Keisean Nixon. So they call Keisean Nixon for illegal use of hands on that play, 5 yards. But again, I think that's an automatic first down, right? So there's one first down that they got off a penalty on that drive. 3-yard run by Monunga, 3-yard run by Monunga, 3-yard run by Monunga. And then on 4th and 1, Caleb Williams scrambles right for 5 yards, picks up the first down, which, by the way, go back and watch that play. Tell me you can't spot a holding on that. I'm just saying, again, holding is one of those things that's like, if they're not going to call it, just don't call it both ways. I'm over it now. It's got to the point where it's ridiculous, right? So next, here you go. On the 4th and 1, right, they pick up the first down. So 1st and 10, they're at Green Bay's 34-yard line. And look at what happens. Monunga, left guard for 1 yard, okay? Penalty, Keisean Nixon, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards, and forced at Green Bay's 33-yard line. So again, you go from having a 1st and 10 play that was only a 1-yard gain, all right, to throwing a flag for 15 yards that now takes them from the 34-yard line when Caleb hadn't been able to hit a bull in the ass with a mop all day long, right? Packers defense was showing up strong early. They get 15 yards, pushes them down to Green Bay's 18-yard line, right? And then, of course, negative 4-yard pass, which is hilarious, right? They lose 4 yards on a technical pass there from Caleb to DJ Moore. So now it's 2nd and 14 back to Green Bay's 22-yard line. Imagine if that play had happened from the 34-yard line. What happens? Forget the fact that Luther Burden should have been penalized 15 yards, but just imagine if that play happens. They're already out of field goal range in the cold, right? So you tack on the 15 yards, and they're actually going from the 34-yard line back to, what would that be? Help me with the math here. Got me be midfield, right? So you're at midfield, then you get a negative 4-yard pass, a 6-yard run, a 1-yard pass, and there's no way you're kicking a field goal from midfield. Now, that's how the game now became, okay, this is going to be a bit of a nail biter, right? It's a real bad look. Again, not only that everyone who had 2 eyes to see could watch the replay and go, man, Keisean didn't do a damn thing wrong. Their guy talking trash in our huddle and then walked up and choked one of our players, and we get flagged for it. And, oh, by the way, that's just going to give them a field goal. So, again, what did we win by? 7 points? So, and look at what happened right after that. Packers touchdown, Bears punt, Packers punt, and then the Bears touchdown in the 3rd quarter there. So imagine if you're up there by 10. I mean, you're essentially going from a 7-point lead, 7-0, right, to they don't get the field goal. Now you go up 14-0. They have no momentum whatsoever going into the second half. I mean, none. That one penalty, 2 penalties on that drive, which extended that drive, really made things interesting. That's the point is, again, we're on the winning side. We're not in here sour apples going, man, that's the reason we lost the game. No, we're in here going, look, we won the game. Packers won the game, right? But can we do something about the freaking officiating, for Lord's sake? I mean, if this had been a good team, we probably would have lost the game. But again, the Bears fans are like, look how close we played you. Go back and watch every single flag that was thrown. Go back and watch Micah Parsons rushing the quarterback every single time. Not refusing to call a flag on Micah Parsons. And then, of course, they're going to call the hold. That's the other thing, too. Was it in the Bears game, guys, that we got called for a hold on a punt where the long snapper puts a hand on here and hooks another guy as he's coming up the middle? I think it was. It might have been the week before. But regardless, you're going to call that hold on a punt protection, but you're not going to call a single hold on Micah Parsons. He's getting triple teamed, and we've got pictures of tackles with their hand literally around his throat, just like Luther Burden. Yep. There you go. Nick confirms. Yep. So again, man, it's just one of those things that I want this to not be an issue. I'm so sick of it being a conversation. I'm so sick of it. Now people are going, well, why are you doing a video on it, Clayton? I'm doing a video because if we don't get loud enough about it, this is only going to get worse. And if you want to know how that can be, look at what happened to the NBA this year. Again, you guys know, I think that gambling, I'm not anti-gambling. I love when people get excited about putting action on the game. It's something that's been a part of the game for a very long time. I'm not, hey, we should get, betting out of sports and out of football. I'm simply saying you're heading down a road right now where the rumors are just going to get louder and louder and louder. And this is going to turn into the freaking WWE. No shot at the WWE. If you like that, that's cool. I'm just saying this is going to get to the point that if we're not loud enough and we don't get some kind of plan in place, you know what fixes this? It's an easy answer. It's such an easy answer. Make penalties replay viewable. That's all it is. Make it where you can, okay, if you get, a holding call or whatever, maybe and here's the thing, they'll probably put it in the coach's hands. Okay, well, you get one of those a game. What are we talking about? Are we talking about trying to get the calls right? Or are we trying to make this a game within the game? That's so silly. Just let the coaches, the eye in the sky, back in New York, they'll take a quick look at it. And you know what they got to do? That official's got to stamp their name that, nope, I watched it back. Imagine an official in New York and his name has to be released that, hey, I watched that replay back and I said, yep, they got the call right on the field. And then we're watching everything unfold and that player gets fined and they acknowledge that it was bad. Now, guess what? Just like we said earlier in the show, that's a negative mark on that official. There's so many easy ways from a business owner standpoint, guys. I am not a smart man. I'm very, very just common sense. I am one of the most undereducated people you'll ever meet in your life. But there's so many answers right in front of our freaking face on how to fix this. And again, we just continue to just turn away from it, pretend like it's not an issue. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. Got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody jumping in. I know the chat thank y'all so much. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you're watching this video back later, let us know how you feel about this situation. Maybe you think it's a big nothing burger. Let us know that, right? But if you got another answer, how do you fix this? How do you get this out of the National Football League? We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future, like today, 2 p.m. Central for PTA pregame show. We're going to be taking you right up to kickoff. Packers, Broncos, showing you the recent inactives. Josh Jacobs sounds like he's in. Let's freaking go. We'll give you all that information right up to kickoff. And, of course, we'll be going live for the postgame show. So there we go. As Chester Marco says, dun, 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 dun. Go, Pack, go. We'll see y'all tonight. Appreciate y'all.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.